Hi guys, it's Shelly here. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me on this video. I hope you're all doing well and having a lovely week so far. Today I'm going to be colouring in Mermaids in Paradise by Denyse Klette. I haven't coloured in this book for more than a year now, and the reason I've picked up this book is for Mermay, and I did put a poll out to see and gave a few options, I think 5 options of books that you would want to see a colour along in for Mermay. And it was very, very close between this book and I think it was Fairy Miracles by Clara Markova. But this book won, so I had no choice but to colour in this book. I don't tend to gravitate towards this book that much. I think the first reason is not just this book particularly, but Mermaids in general. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not crazy about colouring mermaids, so I don't tend to pick up my books that are solely mermaid based books, so such as this one, or the other one I have and I haven't yet coloured in it is the Colouring Heaven Mermaid Special by Anastasia Durer. So hopefully I will try and do at least one page in that book as well this month. But yeah, so the first reason is because I'm not a huge fan of mermaids. The second reason is that I find this line art, it doesn't appeal to me that much. This particular book has a lot of empty space. I'm not a huge fan of doing backgrounds. I'm still learning with regards to backgrounds, so it does put me off a little bit. And then the line art is quite dark, which I'm not very used to. I did buy this book maybe 2 months into my colouring journey, so it was one of those early buys where I wasn't 100% sure what was out there yet. But I'm happy to be colouring in it again, and I have had fun colouring in this book. So on this particular page especially that I'll be showing you today. The mediums I'm going to be using will be my Faber Castell Albrecht Durer pencils, which I think I only use dry on this particular page. I'll be using my Tombow Dual Brush pens for basing certain elements, and I will be using soft pastels for the background. And then to finish off the page, I'll use glitter gel pens and posca pen. I didn't really have a plan for this page. I think all I knew is I wanted it to be bright. The kind of illustration it is like as if it would be, you know, an illustration book, a children's illustration book. And so I thought bright, bold colours would look nice on this page. When I do sand, I usually go for a browny yellow sand, but this time I wanted to make it look a little bit different. So I thought that because there were a lot of leaves and I'll be doing the leaves green, I would bring in a little bit of that green into the sand, and I'm really happy with that decision because I think it looks really nice for the sand. It may not be realistic sand, but I think it works for this particular illustration. Because I'll be doing the background in soft pastels, I thought I'll keep the background for last. Usually I like to do the background first, but in this case, it'll be done at the end. So, but as always, I tend to do the part of the illustration that takes up most of the page, and that is the leaves. Because once you get the major part of the page done, or the major element of the page done, a page doesn't look as daunting, at least to me. So once I do the sand, I would go on to do the leaves. For the leaves, I'll be basing with the Tombow Dual Brush pens. Now on this particular paper, the Tombow Dual Brush pens don't seem to work very well direct to the paper. It just seems to not really seep through, but it doesn't stay wet for long enough, so it's very streaky. So I've decided to apply my Tombow Dual Brush pens with my water brush off a palette. And for the leaves, I'll be using 3 different greens to try and give a different effect to the leaves. So when I come over with the pencils, I'll use exactly the same pencil colors for all the leaves. However, my base of the Tombows will be different. So I'll be using and alternating 3 different greens for the Tombow basing, which I'll show. And then I will go over in the pencils. Other than the greens I apply to the leaves, I'll put hints of the pencil green gold and medium flesh, so pink, just to give little hints to certain leaves so that all the leaves don't look exactly the same. Like I said, I didn't really have a plan for this page, so I'm not 100% sure about the colors I was going to use from the beginning. So after I've done the leaves, because I knew they were going to be green, I will go on to do the mermaid first and try and bring the color, decide on the color of her tail. And then once I have the color of her tail, then I will start working on the other elements to bring in the colors on the surrounding elements. Someone had asked me on a comment recently whether I color from, left to right, if I have an order of coloring. So for example, from left to right or from top to bottom. I do not have an order of coloring. What I do is color either the background first, if I'm going to do the background first. So first would be the background, then any major elements or elements that I'm 100% sure I know what color I want to do for that particular feature on the page. So I would color that in, and then as I'm coloring that, I would be able to hopefully decide what other colors I'm going to start bringing in and what other colors look good. Because once I start bringing in other colors, so for example in this case, once I add the colors to the mermaid's tail, those colors will then be used on certain other elements. And so it helps to decide the rest of the page once I start putting color to the page. So I don't have an order. I just start with either the background or a feature on the page that I'm 100% sure I know what color I want it to be. And then I take it from there. With any page, when I have a person on the page, I usually start first with the skin, then the hair, and then I start coloring any clothing, or in this case, the tail, or any other, jewelry or clothing, whatever else they might have on. For the mermaid's tail, I decided to just go for the turquoises and pinks that we very often see on illustrations of mermaids. So I've gone a little bit darker, so rather than staying very pastel-y, as you know by now probably, I like quite vibrant and bold colors. So yes, I've gone for quite a dark turquoise and a dark pink, so red violet pink for the tail. And once I did the tail and I started adding, other colors like the bathtub and the towel, I realized that there will be a lot of pink. I've been doing a lot of pink recently, and I thought, okay, I'll need to add another pop of color to break up all that green and pinks that I have on the page. So I decided to introduce an orangey yellow for the octopus so that he stands out, and for the coral as well, little bits of the coral dotted around so that we would have pink and yellow coral. For the coral, again, I based with my Tombow Dual Brush pens using my water brush, and for the octopus as well, I based it with the Tombow Dual Brush pens, and then I went over with the pencils. Again, if you've watched my videos, you know I enjoy using my Tombow Dual Brush pens. In this case, it lays out the colors for me, and it just makes it easier for me to spot what colors is going where. It also makes it quicker because by basing, you're taking away the white of the paper, so you don't have to do as much blending on the areas that you've based. So I do enjoy using it, and of course, the other reason is, for me, I find that it makes the colors quite vibrant, and so I like that as well. As I usually do on my videos, I will show examples of each element, how I'm going to colour them, little portions of them, and then on camera, and then I'll go off camera to finish it off. For example, the leaves, I'll show how I do a few leaves, and then I'll go off and colour the rest off camera, because it would take forever to do it on camera and you will get bored watching me do those many leaves on the page. So similarly for the coral, for the mermaid's tail, the falls on the mermaid's tail, I'll show a couple of examples and then I'll finish it off camera, so that the video doesn't get too long for you and you get an idea of how I colour every element, yet you don't have to watch the entire process of me just repetitively doing the colouring. Once I've finished colouring the foreground with my Tombow Dual Brush pens, with my pencils, I will right at the end then go and do the background, and I'm going to use my soft pastels for that. I'll be using quite a few colours. I will share the colours I use. The set of pastels I'm going to be using is the Faber Castell soft pastels, and they do have shade names and numbers which I will share on the video so that you can, if you do have it or if you have a set that you can match up, you can see the colours, because I'll be using quite a few colours. I'll be using a combination of greens and blues and turquoise to create my background for the sea. I've chosen so many colours so that it just gives it a little bit more interest rather than one solid colour of blue or just 2 shades of blue to do the water. So that's why I've chosen a few colours just to make it a little bit more interesting in the background. And then, as always, I'll finish off the page with my Posca white pen and my glitter gel pens, and that will be it. Despite not gravitating towards this book that much, I have actually really enjoyed colouring in it this time, and I love the end result. I will show the end result at the end of the video once the whole process is completed. I like the outcome. To me, it looks like a very colourful illustration in one of, a children's illustrated book. And I think that works perfectly for the kind of artwork this is. So I am happy with the end result. I enjoyed the process. And so I'm glad that you guys chose this book in the poll. It made me colour in the book again. There was a very high chance that I probably wouldn't have gotten round to this book again, this Mermay. So it's nice that I got to colour in this book again. I hope you guys enjoy watching the video as much as I've enjoyed actually colouring the page, and I hope you guys are enjoying Mermay. I know a lot of people do enjoy colouring mermaids, so hopefully you guys are getting lots of mermaid pictures done. For myself, I'm not sure how many more I'll do, maybe one, because like I said, I'm not a huge fan, I'm not crazy about mermaids, so I might not get that many done. But I'm glad I got around to doing this one, especially because it won in the poll. Hope you guys have a lovely rest of the week and hope to see you again on my next video. Until then, bye bye.